Hey guys, Jeff here, coming to you with another Kickstarter initial impressions video. This time we're looking at Cannibal Squares from Bouncing Bomb Games. 1 to 4 player game, co-op game. Depending on the number of players, they've got it listed from 30 to 60 minutes in play time. So yeah, depending on how many players you got. Again, it's a co-op, but it's a co-op in, like, everybody will be working together, and you'll be gathering resources and fending off cannibals and stuff. I mean, basically, the idea behind the game is that you're stranded on this island. You're trying to get off. You're trying to build your SOS so you can get rescued. So you're gathering resources that you need to build weapons and feed yourself and all that kind of stuff. And at the same time, when night rolls around, cannibals come out of the woodworks and start, trying to, bring you back and feast on you, if you will. But it doesn't get that gruesome. You get knocked over and put in a cage where you can be rescued. So it's co-op. But it's co-op with a slight twist in that your win condition can be won without everybody actually getting there. So what I mean by that is, most co-ops are all or none. At least most of the ones that I usually play. It's everybody gets to this, and this is the end condition, and that's the win. If one person can't make it or something happens, then everybody loses. In this game, once the SOS gets triggered and you go through the endless assault of cannibals, if you make it through that and you on the SOS spot and there are no cannibals there, everybody there kind of gets off the island. Yay! If there's anybody that didn't make it to that spot, they don't lose. It just kind of says in the rules that, basically they become the afterlife cheerleader. They're happy and that their friends got off the island from, the afterlife. So that's a little bit different. I mean, you've got your foundation of this is what we need to do to win. You just don't have this is what everybody needs to do to win. So that's kind of cool. Once you see the gameplay, I'm not doing a full game because my dice rolls were horrible, which is not uncommon. So that's one thing. Before I get to that, first thing I'll say is you're also seeing a prototype version behind me. I was sent a prototype review copy, which was actually a compact copy of the game. So some of what you might see, it got a little hard when a lot of cannibals came out, because the squares were so small on my version. Kind of knowing where all the cannibals were or stacking up got kind of difficult when they started kind of clumping around a couple different characters. That will not be true for the actual version. It's going to be like a full quad-fold board, all that good stuff. So there's going to be plenty of space there. So again, what you're looking at for me, prototype, compact, review copy. So keep that in mind. Dice rolls, I'll get to that. I'll just go ahead right away, straight out. If you do not like randomness of dice rolls, this may be a game you might not want to look at, or you might pass on. They come into play in combat, and if you get knocked over and if you get captured. So there is some dice rolls. They do use the mitigation style of mitigating dice rolls by adding more dice, which is one thing I'm not a huge fan of in general, but I don't mind it as so much in this game because it does kind of play quick and fun, and there are ways for your fellow players to help you out in certain situations with minimal danger to themselves. It's kind of hard to say in a game where you're running around an island trying to avoid cannibals. But if that does not appeal to you, I mean, you gotta, in combat, you gotta roll 5s and 6s to fend off cannibals. If you roll doubles, you actually kill a cannibal. So that's the style of combat you're looking at. Again, in this style of game, and the feeling you get, to me anyway, when you're making those rolls, and if you can make them or not, I actually don't mind that. I kind of enjoy it. Even when I'm rolling horribly, like I did for part of this video. But then I had that one awesome character that apparently was never going to, well, they did eventually miss, but just sat there and fended off cannibal after cannibal, and then eventually killed a few, and then finally went down in a kind of a blaze of glory themselves. So that's that. But beyond that, besides that, again, it's the whole co-op nature of running around this island, trying to build your SOS. At the same time, you need to gather resources, you need to craft weapons and get food and all that stuff, and have the ability to build fires and carry torches, so that you're prepping for when the cannibals come along. And then you got to fend off the cannibals throughout the evening, because by daybreak, then they go away, and you kind of get back to trying to keep yourself alive and get rescued off this island. So a lot of little things going on, a lot of interesting things. I like that there's a crafting system. That's kind of cool for such a small, I'm gonna say small game, but I mean for the gameplay and what you're trying to get out of it. There's a little crafting system, so you're kind of doing your little crafting / tech tree kind of thing. There's variable player powers, which I always like, so it's kind of cool when everybody has a little bit different ability. And then, of course, there's some stats and all that good stuff, like how much you can carry, which is another thing. You got to watch how much weight you're carrying, because that can make it so you can't move anymore. You got to watch your hunger. You got to build up your ability to fight, all that kind of stuff. So a lot of little things going on, you know, and it's try to show again, this is the very, very compact board, but you know, a lot of little things going on. Nice double-sided board. Now you're gathering resources here, you're fighting animals over here to get meat and pelts, but you know what, you can't get the meat and pelts unless you get some wood and some stone and build yourself a spear. You can get fish, all that kind of stuff. So lots of things going on. At the end of the day, what do I think? I do give it a recommend. I do like co-ops. I like that little twist on the co-op of not necessarily everybody having to meet the end condition for the win. I like variable player powers. I don't mind the randomness of the dice. I don't like more dice for mitigation. That's just always been a thing that it isn't really high on my list. But I don't mind it that much in this one. I do like, outside of that, that other players can kind of help you out. You know, if you get caught in the village cage, or you get thrown in the cage, you've got to roll a 6 if you do it yourself. Another player can kind of get in there and spend actions, but they do have to do a combat roll once they enter the village to continue using their action, or they might end up in the cage with you. One of the players can stand next, adjacent to you, and try to fight the cannibals in your spot. If they at least fend one off, you get to stand up for free. Otherwise, you got to do a roll on your turn to stand up, stuff like that. So again, if that doesn't sit well with you, this might not be the game for you, but it works for me. I had a good time with it. I like the co-op aspect of it. I like how it ramped up and got tense on me really quick. And some of that is by which cards come out and how many cannibals are going to come out. So that's kind of randomized. There's also environmental effects that you got to watch out for. So for what's all involved in this game and what comes with it, it does a pretty good job of hitting a lot of different little spots. Again, crafting, variable player powers, variable environmental effects, variable number of cannibals and movement of cannibals and where they're going to pop up on the board and stuff like that. All very solid, and end of the day, I say it's worth a shot, so definitely check it out. I know this is coming to Kickstarter soon as of the recording of this. I believe it's going through most of March, or at least mid-March. Of course, by the time I get this edited and stuff, if it's already out there, probably right around in this area, you will see a link to the Kickstarter with the actual end date and all that good stuff. But definitely check it out. Again, give it a look. If they've got rules or something over there to check out, give it a read. That's the one thing I will say, that rulebook is pretty decent, pretty solid. I got through it and was able to understand the game. Needs some cleanup though, some typos and stuff, which is pretty easy to do and can easily be worked through before the campaign ends and before it gets into anybody's hands. So not worried about that. Again, I've had this with me for a while. Maybe some of that stuff is already cleaned up. Hopefully it is. If not, I will have a conversation with Alicia and we can talk about it. And I know she'll clean it up because I know she wants to put out the best possible game she can. So check it out. Again, Cannibal Squares, Bouncing Bomb Games, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks a lot.